Ed from Pinball Mayhem here. Another day, another hour. I did a little bit of clamping. I did a little bit more than I was planning on. It just kind of worked out that way. What I ended up doing is kind of I was discussing here with the clamps, and glued the top and put a couple nails in. One kind of busted out, so I'm not really happy about that. I'm going to review if it's going to leave sharp edges. So that's good. I did a little gluing on the left there. And on the front, this is nice glued and clamped. I did put the nails in where they were, where the staples were. Once again, I was using finishing nails with a set punch, so I'll be able to filler on top of it. And so I glued that down. I didn't end up putting a board on the back side. There's probably the limits of these two clamps. I'm going to start looking at what might be done, have to be done widthwise on this. It's a little loose there. So I think once the clamps free up, I'm gonna try to maybe put some glue on this because I can get to both sides easily and just do a little bit of clamping. I still got to get these boards cut. I did remove them. Last video they were in place. So out of the four, there's three. They all are the same dimensions. So I'm going to be able to make, I believe, the 2.5 inches, 2.25 inches high, and the inside is 23 inches. But they have, let's see if I can show you, like a rabbit on them. So I'm going to have to take this to try to replicate what I got. The other thing I'm going to do is when I'm making those boards, I'm going to make new ones of these blocks, these support blocks, just in case if I got to remove them. I can always take a belt sander and clean these up, make them good. This one here is missing a decent enough chunk of it, and the other one's missing one. So if I have a few spare ones of these laying around, it doesn't hurt because sometimes the board's not going to sit exactly where it sat before. I did pull the nails out. I punched them out from the inside out. They were originally, I'd say maybe like 1.5 inch flathead. I'm going to use like a ring shank rather than a twisted one. That's going to grab pretty good. So that's what I'm going to be doing next, is getting those boards cut and putting them in after I get the guts to pop the clamps off. Now here's the right guy. I do have 1 or 2 clamps I didn't use, but I used a lot. First off, I want to point out on the back, you see I did tighten it up. I put a block of wood on each side to try not to mar it with my clamps. I didn't over tighten the top bar because it was actually starting to curve it in more than I wanted to. So you tightened it, but watching your cranking, notice I have one pipe going that way and one pipe going this way. It's a trick my dad taught me when clamping woodwork, because you got those pipes hanging out. It's putting weight this way, putting weight this way. You want to even them out. So always crisscross your pipes when they stick out. When you're dealing with long pipe clamps that long, that weight. Pipe clamps are nice because they're cheap. You buy the pipes, you can change the lengths. They're not nice because the jaws aren't very deep how they go down. Definitely have to use your wood carefully and look at what you're clamping. Back to here. I clamped up this side, glued it, and same here. As this one's loose, I didn't want it super tight, and these clamps just held it tight. I didn't want to go here when I was clamping it because I didn't want to pull this crooked. But there was just a small loop change. And then this side, this is the left side. I didn't fix any of the lamination on this. I ended up having to glue here when I was clamping it, same as this one. So that's something I should not have done. I shouldn't have touched this. I should have just put a board on it, clamped it, and tackled the left side separately. This side, I had to throw a lot of glue in here. It's still drying. So I'm actually going to be giving this another day before I pop these clamps off. I think I'm going to do, I may have skipped a day. I did, the clamps are, trying to clamp as much. You can see a lot of wood's missing here. And I'm going to pull them off. I'm going to try to pry in and get more glue and re-clamp this side, more wax paper. And I want to then do the same on the left side and start filling in these missing chunks best I can to make it strong. That's the whole goal, is make it strong. You have to have these horizontals on the bottom because that's going to give us support. It's missing the corner block. That's why I'm going to want to make a new one. This corner block is there, but we'll have to either be cleaned with a chisel or fully removed and belt sanded. But it's coming along. What else? Yeah, I did not. I was good. I had all these small clamps here. I was gonna, you know, if you have any extra clamps and gluing, something like this, that would be really easy just to clamp those shut, put a little glue in there when I'm doing other gluing. But you know, sometimes you run out of clamps. And this one has a little bit of looseness on the top. Same thing, I'm going to use my pipe clamp setup and just put a little bit of glue in here next. Gluing and clamping is probably going to take a lot of time. Sanding and repair work, not so much. I already started sanding the side here. The black, I'm going to try to take it down to at least this level, maybe a little bit more. And still, I can feel the paint. I want it to be smooth, and then I'm going to throw a thinner light gray primer on top of everything, and then sand it down again for the black. Any exposed wood I expose, but everything is going to have to get roughed up with some sort of sander, either the square sander or an orbital, just to kind of give me a fresh surface. Here, I think that's even factory. It's in the orange paint. It's hard to see, but that's going to get smoothed out. Why not? So stay tuned for the next update. I'll be I don't know if I'm going to be just making the boards or popping the clamps off. So thanks for watching. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.